If you get out on your bike even when the weather's poor, you've probably spent a little bit of time looking at ways that you can keep dry. There's two main ways to do this. These are wearing waterproof gear or getting some waterproof overalls that you can put on top of your existing gear. Here are my recommendations on which is best. First up, let's talk about waterproof gear because this comes in a few different flavours. There are two main ones. The first is gear that has a waterproof liner. This can be found on both leathers and textiles, and it means that while the outside might get wet, the water won't soak through, so your skin will stay dry. Most of the time these have the benefit of being removable, so on sunny days you don't have to wear them, but you can in poor weather. The second type is where the waterproof layer is on the outside. Usually this is some kind of treatment that's been applied, or it's a water repellent technology like Gore-Tex. I would highly recommend going for the second type if you're in the market for a set of waterproof gear. The problem with waterproof liners is that even though your skin will stay dry, the outside of the gear will still get saturated with water, which becomes really heavy and, more importantly, really cold. As you're riding, the water's evaporating from the outside of your gear, and the cold can become quite noticeable. Whereas gear that has a waterproof layer on the outside won't have this problem because the gear itself won't soak through in the same way. The water just beads off the outside. My set of textiles aren't Gore-Tex, but they are advertised as waterproof. Personally, I've worn them in the rain for maybe about an hour at most, and I've arrived at work bone dry. But I'm not sure how much I trust them for longer journeys in the rain, which is why I put a set of waterproof overalls like this on top. Waterproof overalls come in two main styles, one piece and two piece, like mine. While a one piece overall provides better protection from the rain since water can't get in between your jacket and your waistband, they're less convenient to keep taking on and off, so I've gone for a two piece set. I have enough overlap between my jacket and my waistband, so I'm confident that that's not going to be a weak spot. With a two-piece set, you can also choose to just wear the jacket on its own. It works really well as a windbreaker, even if it's not raining. The main benefit of waterproof overalls is that they're much cheaper than buying waterproof gear. I got this set from the clearance section of a sports shop for about £10. I'd highly recommend getting a set of waterproofs from a camping or a sports shop as opposed to getting ones from a motorbike brand. You'll get better quality gear for much cheaper. Also, make sure that your waterproof over trousers have zips that come up quite high, because this makes it a lot easier to get them on top of boots. Overalls will save you a lot of money. A decent set of Gore-Tex textiles might cost you £1,000 for a set. A good jacket alone will be a few hundred. Sure, you can get cheaper ones, but Gore-Tex is generally considered the pinnacle of waterproofness, and I found waterproof overalls do a comparable job for a fraction of the price. You can also get boot covers and glove covers, but personally I would at least get a set of waterproof gloves since these shouldn't be too expensive. It's important to be able to feel your controls, and I think waterproof mitts would compromise this unless they fit really well. You definitely don't want to get ones that are way too big. Many people also wear latex gloves under their normal gloves to keep their hands dry. But bear in mind you're still going to have the cold issue that I mentioned earlier if you do this. My boots are waterproof, but you can also get waterproof socks to keep your feet dry. Or I've heard of some people putting carrier bags over their feet before putting their boots on. The main thing is to make sure that your trousers go over your boots rather than tuck in, so the water doesn't run down. The biggest downside to waterproof overalls is that they're a lot less convenient. Mine take around 30 seconds to put on, which may not sound like a lot, but it can be frustrating at the side of the road. They also make your gear feel a lot more bulky off the bike. In the winter you can find yourself wearing 4 or 5 layers by the time you've put on all your warm kit, your bike gear, and then you've put waterproofs on top. This doesn't bother me while I'm riding, but it does get annoying anytime you stop for a coffee or a snack. Also, waterproof overalls will only work if you put them on before your gear underneath gets wet, so you have to know if it's going to rain in advance. If you're riding to work, this should be fine. You'll be able to check the weather before you leave, and you'll know if it's going to rain in the next hour or so. But if you're riding for a whole day, it can get really tricky to anticipate when the rain's going to start. Find somewhere safe to pull over and put your gear on. Knowing that your textiles are waterproof and one set will be fine for all weather takes a lot of hassle out of riding. If you already own textiles but maybe they're not very waterproof, you can also look at treating them with waterproof sprays, or there's products that you wash your gear in. Some of these products you put in the washing machine, you run your gear through a cycle, and by the time they come out they should be treated and have some water resistant properties. But you might have to reapply this every now and then. For me, I'll be sticking with waterproof overalls despite the inconvenience. Since my textiles already have some kind of waterproofing ability, it's not worth me really upgrading them unless I'm going to go all out with a set of rucker Gore-Tex textiles or something. That's not something I'm planning on doing right now, and my overalls feel comfortable on the bike, so that's what I'll be sticking with. I'd say if you have the money to splash out on a really high-end set of waterproofs, go for it. If not, see if you can throw some overalls over your existing gear. Let me know if you guys ride in the rain and how you keep yourself dry if you do. Safe riding, and I'll see you in the next one.